fantastic player, and honestly, we saw just how crucial he is and how big of a threat he is when he gets into form, especially towards the end of the
He
season.
started to get even minutes toward the end of the season last year, and I think he's going to be a locked-in starter this year for Amy Tide.
You know that, Sally?
Yes, sir.
We get another year of that, baby.
We should do it in the stands when he scores.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Linners and Wosers episode. My name's Riccardo. I'm joined by my good friend Nick Rosser, and we have a special January 2024 update regarding our favorite USL League One team, Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC. Nick, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Have a pretty normal day in my own life, but I was just thinking how fun that USL One roundtable was we did that last episode. Just thinking about how fun it was getting all the guys together for that.
Yeah, you guys can go ahead and check out episode 3 of the USL League One local media roundtable. That was the biggest roundtable we've had. That was 8 people, including us. We had Rich and Brian from League One on the Rocks. We had Rob Chappelle from Talking Flock, John Hunt from Bluegrass Soccer Cast, Benji from the Spokane Soccer Show, and Alex from League One Updater. So quite the crowd of USL League One powerhouse. It's like the A-list. Missing a few, but more roundtable episodes to come out here. So tune in as it keeps growing, as the league is just around the corner. But today we're solely talking about Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC. And Nick, you got the wall coming up of scarves behind you.
Yes, sir. My bank account's drained because I buy every single scarf Hailstorm comes out with. I mean the club is young, but I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including the supporters group. So 7 scarves total from the club. And I have the USLW League scarf now, so I guess 8.
That's quite the collection, and it's very fitting for today because in case you do celebrate, Nick, happy holidays. Happy Merch Monday.
It is Merch Monday. Love it.
It is Merch Monday, as the club announced, but the club also announced what we're here to talk about, the juicy stuff, 11 players coming back. That's just one of the topics we'll be going ahead and chat. We're also talking about the League's Cup, the USL League One Cup, not the League's Cup. That's coming up here at the beginning of this year. This is the first time we're seeing it, and we'll dive in straight into that right now. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. This is the group that we're in. This is the West group. It's made up of Central Valley Fuego FC, Spokane Velocity FC, first year in the league. Don't know much about them so far, except a few signings that they've made, a little bit of background on them. You can go ahead and check out Benji at the Spokane Soccer Show. They'll go ahead and dive into it a lot more on those players. Union Omaha, we know about Union Omaha and how strong they were last year, who they're bringing back so far this year. So looking at this group right away, Nick, initial thoughts? Just at the group, not the competition structure. We'll dive into that in a sec.
Oh no, yeah, just the group. These were the 4 teams I expected to be in our regional group for the USL League One Cup when it was rumored that it was going to be regional. So I expected all 4 of these teams. Obviously Omaha is the biggest threat in the group when it comes to last season's form, just overall strength of their squad. There's still a lot to be desired for Spokane Velocity's lineup. So yeah, I just think and then Fuego, we never know what to go with Fuego. I'm excited for Jermaine Jones to be in our group. We're gonna see a lot of clashes with him. But yeah, just so far I think if you're looking just straight up as a Hailstorm fan, the Omaha is probably your biggest threat in winning this group and going on to the semifinals of the cup.
I'm going to go ahead and pick up right where you left off of. If you're a Hailstorm fan, this is another competition you can be excited about. A chance to get the club's first silverware, just the 3rd season in. And just talking about the structure a little bit of how the League One Cup is going to go. It's 3 groups, the West group that we're looking at right now. There's the East group and there's the Central group. And The top 3 of each of those group will go ahead and move on to the semifinal. Now, it's not like other competitions that have a group and knockout stage where top 3 or top 2 or whatever, and then there's a little bit of a goal difference, and you figure out exactly how that 4th spot is going to go ahead and be selected. But they're trying something new here, and it's going to go ahead and be the team that scores the most goals. It's not goal differentials. It's not how many goals for, goals against. It's just plainly goals for. So let's, theoretically, Northern Colorado tops this group, Greenville tops theirs, Madison tops theirs, and Union Omaha somehow scores 5 goals each game against Spokane, Union Omaha, Central Valley, for again us. They could still go ahead and go through if they have the most goal and be that 4th team. So, Nick, on that rule that I just explained, team with the most goals getting that 4th spot, how do you feel about that? This is something new.
It's definitely something new. I think we're eventually going to run into a time where it's going to be really annoying that this team went through because of goals. But yeah, the USL League One wants to you know, add attacking football to the game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think it's a big
I'm
bummer
not
that
sure. I'm just not
this is a
sure
big
about it.
bummer
It's
that
so
it's
new to
coming
me.
in. I was going to say it's a big bummer that it's coming in at a time where we lost our top goal scorer and our top assist playmaker. That rules played in. But Nick brings up a good point that the league wants to see more attack in football, and I didn't mention this. So if the games do end in a tie, they're going straight to PKs, straight to PKs. No extra time, no a point for a draw, none of that. Straight to PKs. How do you feel about that? I'm just gonna go ahead and chip in real quick. I'm actually super okay with this, just because again, it's more attack in football. Uh, there's no draws. You can actually go ahead and see a team win, and the penalty kicks actually have some excitement to them. The goalkeepers in this league are pretty awesome, and I think that we're going to go ahead and see some drama in the penalty kicks. But those are just some positives that I think. There's obviously some bummers. I think the whole keeping it traditional to how soccer is and getting a point for a draw, that's out the window. But they're trying something new. Nick, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this. I'm not really a fan of Americanizing the game. I think Americanizing the game just makes it less appealing from overseas to, you know, like try to get the respect from other like all around the world that we are a part of your game, not we're just gonna start creating our own game. I think we're starting to enter the realm of hockey, and it's mostly an NHL thing. So I think, yeah, I'm not really a fan. I think it takes the excitement away from PKs when you start to dilute it more and more. So yeah, it's all PKs are also probably one of the most luck based things of this game, while a harder and draw and a point is probably like the most merit based thing you can have.
Contradicting thoughts, you and I shared some positive about it. You went straight into the things that you don't like, and obviously Americanizing the game. You're not alone in that aspect, but you're pretty vocal about it. And so I think this is the first year we're seeing this competition. Our expectations are probably not set too high. Is this a winnable competition? I think it's way too early to tell, just because we barely have 11 players to go ahead and decide. But looking at our group, knowing that you can go ahead and go through top in the group, knowing that you can go ahead and go through scoring a lot of goals. The club is looking to go ahead and bring silverware to Windsor, Colorado in its 3rd year. This would be an awesome competition, and most likely one that you can go full throttle in to go ahead and get that done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be exciting too. It's just like you said earlier, it's another chance of silverware. You can win
Yeah.
a domestic treble with the cup, shield, um, and then just the regular, uh, league title. So I think it just adds a different element, and we might be able to even see, Hailstorm starting this youth academy up soon in the spring. We might be able to see some players be able to make the jump and have the opportunity to play with the first team. So I think we're gonna see. We're gonna have to wait and see what this cup's gonna be like. But I'm definitely excited for it now. The more I read about it, and I'm also excited that it balanced the whole league schedule. So now there's gonna be it makes the shield, I think, that much more important. than it was before. So, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
Before we go ahead and move on to our next segment, something that was mentioned in the roundtable episode 3, it is up to our responsibility, us local media, to go ahead and educate our casual fans, Hailstorm fans, or anyone who actually has questions about this competition. This is something new. This is something they're experimenting. We're actually all learning and observing as we go. So feel free to go ahead and, as much as we've already learned and we're learning as we go, ask us questions. There's no dumb questions about this competition. How does this work? Is there going to be PKs after this game? Feel free, again, open up with your club with us. Let us know. We'll be happy to go ahead and reach back out to you with your comments and thoughts. But Nick, we talked about a big bummer missing out on this competition with our top goal scorer and our top assist provider. Let's go ahead and give him some flower here and say thank you to arguably our two best players making the jump to the USL Championship, arguably the best player in USL League One in the last 2 years. Agree? Agree. Trevor Amon making the jump to Sacramento Republic FC, a top team in the USL Championship, and Arthur Rogers also making the jump to the USL Championship. He'll be joining FC Tulsa. How great are those moves for them, Nick?
Oh, absolutely. With what the U.S. soccer's landscape is for
Mm-hmm.
soccer, it's really important that these players had the opportunity to move up um, when the clubs can't. So just seeing local lad and Trevor from Colorado, where we're both from, or you're from Italy and Colorado. Colorado though, seeing a guy like that who used to light me up on for my team, and then used to light my team up in our youth days. It's just cool to see him go to one of the best teams
Yeah,
uh, in all of USL Championship, and he's going to be starting. I think he's going to be up there. I think they have a really good plan for him, and he's just such a threat. And then Arthur, I just thought was wow. I thought he was easily the best. Not easily, but like he was one of the best players in USL League One for the last 2 seasons. He got I think it's back to back USL League One Defenders of the Year or something like that, and he got the Golden
yeah,
Playmaker
he did.
for both. I believe both seasons. Maybe he was assist short the year before, but I believe it was both seasons. So, yeah, just those two linking up is going to be a huge miss, but I'm super happy for them, and I'm going to be following along their journey next year in the championship.
Another player here, Nick, making a jump, not necessarily to the championship, not to another team in USL League One, going overseas, back to Ireland, is our captain, Rob Cornwall, back to Bohemian FC, going into the season without our big man, our captain, leading us. A big thank you, but how does that feel?
I mean, I'm happy for him. I think he spent the last 6 seasons before he went to Hailstorm at Bohemian, so
Yeah,
I think it was great that he came. He showed us. He brought that leadership to the squad. He led us to 2 wins over the Switchbacks. He scored a game-winning goal over an MLS side in Real Salt Lake, who, as you know, with your Rapid scarf up there, you'd love to see it. So,
love to see
um,
it.
yeah, I think Rob was unfortunately hit with injuries at his time with Hailstorm. But when he was on the field, he was absolutely lights out, a great defender, and I'm definitely gonna miss him. And I'm gonna try to keep track of his journey too in Ireland because once Hailstorm, always a Hailstorm. So yeah, Rob, thank you.
Exactly. And Nick, you keep track with Hail Yeah Outlet, all of these stats with appearance leaders, matches played, minutes played, etc. All these different stats about Hailstorm players, and Rob was up there. So for a while here, he's going to go ahead and still be receiving those notifications um, that he is up at the top of the charts for the Hailstorm. But want to bring up a memorable moment in his Hailstorm time. Of course, that U.S. Open Cup goal against Salt Lake, Real Salt Lake. Is that arguably the best moment in Hailstorm history so far?
Absolutely. I think it really put our club on notice on the national map when it came to people just, oh, these are the Hailstorm. They've already taken out a championship side, they've already taken out an MLS side. And just the way he did it, too, a thumping volley from the top of the box
Yeah,
in front of I wouldn't say a completely packed RSL crowd, but there was quite a bit of people, definitely more than we get down in the third division. So just to be able to have that moment. Even Salt Lake fans show their respects online. Rapids fans, it's kind of in their little lore, watching the little third division an hour away from them beating their biggest rivals. And so yeah, it was just I think it is the greatest moment in Hailstorm's history so far, and it came so early.
Undoubtedly, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. There's been some great moments in our short going into 3-year tenure, but Rob's Rob's Open Cup goal to beat an MLS side, fantastic. Probably, arguably the best. It set us, as you said, on the map. But that was also something that was unfathomable. We didn't think we had that in our back pocket. First season coming out, here we are playing against an MLS side away from home. This is our big man, our captain, showing us how it's done, leading us. So huge thank you. Best of luck. We're going to go ahead and still keep up with you, Rob. Thank you so much. But it's time to move on to two other players now, still with our defense. Excuse me. One is our defender. Another one is a central attacking midfielder, second forward, making a jump to USL League One side. Chattanooga Red Wolves SC are both Leo Fola and Stefan Lukic. Two huge departures. Just in terms of squad depth, Leo really went ahead in his second season, played a lot more matches in the center back role and was pivotal to that defense, especially going into the later season. And then at the beginning of the season, Stefan really was there as a secondary striker, playing the 10 right behind Trevor Amon, just before Iman Zayed really changed the lineup to a 4-3-3 and played more pacey wingers on the outside. But both pivotal, versatile players that came in during the match when times we needed to go ahead and close out a game, needed a goal, needed a defender, needed to get things done. So that's all I have to say. Want to go ahead and say thank you to those two. Nick, initial thoughts? Any thank you on both the players?
Both super talented players. It was great to watch both of them play. Stefan Lukic, he had quite a bit of appearances, mostly from the bench because he had really tough competition at Hailstorm when it came to the forward position. His first season, Irvin Parra scored 12 goals, I believe, and then Trevor Amon was also there in the first season, being dangerous, and then second season Trevor Amon just had the greatest season a forward's ever had in the USL League One.
Right.
So, but when you see his appearance numbers, you could tell that he was one of Eamon's go-to guys straight off the bench. And he definitely was pivotal in quite a few games for Hailstorm when it mattered the most. So I'm gonna thank you, Lukic, and then Leo Fola, such a solid center back. When Rob would go down with injury or Breck would go down with injury, he came in and he would hold it down, and he even earned the starting spot in this 2023 season. So it's going to be a big miss for Hailstorm and a huge gain for Chattanooga for both these players.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge game for Chattanooga. And Stefan, huge in the community as well. A lot, we follow a lot of amateur soccer players in the state, and a lot of them are training with these guys, calling him coach. So he's very involved in just not only the playing aspect, but he's already thinking about his coaching future. So there's already a mastermind in there. So a huge pickup for them. And thank you guys so much for your time here at Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC. But I'm going to go ahead and now that we talked about, all the individuals here that have left, I'm going to go ahead and switch gears here to the individuals that are returning to Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC. And this list that I'll have to go ahead and add one name to this list here, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. The names, this is from the Hail Yeah outlet that Nick runs. So far, I know it says 9 players, but we actually have 11 players returning. I'm going to go ahead and add that banner right there. With the addition of Marky Hernandez today. Let's look at this list real quick. I know you made a 4-3-3-11 formation. You sent me over a text earlier. In goal, so far, the only pickup we have, Edward Lalo Delgado. As our defenders, we're bringing back Bruno Rendon, Lucky Opara, Breck Evans, and then pretty much that's it. Any of the center back we'd need. In the midfield there, Jackson, we have McCain coming off the bench, Enoch, Danny Robles, Marky Hernandez, and then up top, Irvin Para so far, Billy King, and that's the list. 11
Yeah.
players returning.
Yeah, so far
These
it's
are all returners as well.
yeah, this is a super strong core, and I'd say a majority of these players were in the starting 11 toward the end of last season where it mattered the most. It's good to see Clark back in the fold. He was the youngest lad to make a his Hailstorm debut at 18 years old. So happy to see Clark back in the mix with all the boys. Yeah, I think the core's super strong. I've been getting a little anxious, about some new signings. I want to hear some new names, but yeah, I think if we're looking at last season's squad that took us to third place, minus our skipper and the two players of the year, it's still a really strong squad, and I'm glad to see all the people returning so far, and I'm really ecstatic to hear that most of them are on multi-year deals for next season as
Yeah,
well. And then yeah, good to see Irvin Parra. Hopefully balls this next season and he continues on playing footy. So yeah,
let's go
definitely,
ahead.
it's a good
Let's go ahead and
core.
start with that. Let's go ahead and start with that here. Let's dive in individual and each of the players here. Initial thoughts just shared with us. Coming back, third year, Irvin Parra. We knew the type of player he is after watching him the first season, and then an unfortunate personal event happened that saw him sidelined for most of the 2023 season, but coming back and then scoring the last goal of the league play in USL League One this year. Absolutely cinematic moment. But now he's going into this next season with motivation, will, that hunger. We joke around that he leaves these cryptic tweets around, and that we feared maybe that he was going to go ahead and retire after this season. But looks like he's going all in 2024, and a big statement as well because we just lost our top goal scorer. So how important is it this year to go ahead and expect at least double-digit goals from Mr. Irvin Para?
I think it's pivotal, and I'm messing that
That's
word up
too
today.
tight.
Um, yeah, and I think we all saw the talent from the 2022 season where he scored
Yeah,
12 goals, and he looked he looked he looked good when he was coming off the bench this last season from what he dealt with, and he's gonna definitely have that hunger, that desire, and I think we're gonna see probably the best of Par in this 2024 season, alongside someone he didn't get to play too much with, and a Billy King who's a very
right.
strong player. Well, we'll get to him in a sec, but yeah, Irvin's. I think we're gonna see a really strong Irvin Par. Maybe not a Golden Boot leader, but definitely at the higher end of the league.
I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Jump on to our first defender on the list. Breck Evans also coming back for a third year at Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC. How exciting is it to have just an experienced center back that has played with this team? We lost already Arthur Rogers, Leo Fola in the back, Rob Cornwall going back to Ireland. So that's three important people in the back gone. Breck is staying. How exciting is that?
I think it's great that Breck's back. He's got USL League One winning experience with North Texas SC. It'll be his third season with Hailstorm. We've seen him get assists. We've seen him score goals. We've seen him boot that ball up the field with that left foot. We've seen him have a crunching tackle. I think Breck is a fantastic player, and this NoCo back line is definitely gonna need him this year.
Yeah, you just mentioned how an amazing defender and his aggression and his grit to really get in to get those tackles. It's his versatility for me in the back, being able to go ahead and not only play at center back, but at times when asked, throwing at left back, even at right back, being asked to go ahead and receive the ball, take that ball down the line, making those passes, finding those forwards. So his responsibilities really do vary depending on what Coach Zayed asks him from to do. But his defensive qualities are top, and he has that experience that he's bringing back next year. So hopefully, we'll go ahead and be fully fit and healthy, and have an also outstanding 2024 season like the rest of the guys. Um, let's see here. Another player returning, McCain Clark. McCain, We've seen him come off the bench a few times when asked to go ahead and close out games when a lead is needed to go ahead and be held onto, or if we're down by a goal and we need more numbers, fresh legs to go ahead and be able to drive with the ball and put the ball in the box for some of our taller guys to header away. He's got some nice feet work, exciting young prospect to go ahead and have come back for another season over at Northern Colorado Hailstorm. How excited are you to have him back?
I think really excited. I think I said all I needed to say about him a bit ago, but I think this is just the epitome of what Eamon Zayed's Hailstorm, that he's willing to give these local
Yeah,
Colorado kids a shot. I think McCain was the third one to represent um, Hailstorm from the Box State, so it's awesome to see him progress. And I'm really looking forward to seeing his sophomore season with Hailstorm. Because he got a whole full season of training with people. He was the youngest guy. It is not an easy league for young lads to come into
of
and
course.
immediately have an impact. So, yeah, I'm excited for McCain Clark. I think he's going to have a even bigger impact this year than he did last season. So, and it's just great to see more Colorado lads out there on the field.
We've seen the growth and talent from guys who didn't maybe have the best or a lot of minutes in their first season, but that sophomore season just absolutely explode like Trevor. So you could go ahead and hopefully we see a lot more minutes from McCain Clark here. And you mentioned it, he got a full year training with the big guys. So that experience is developing there. It's not an easy league to go ahead and just throw young guys in, but I'm excited. And this is a crucial depth piece to go ahead and have come in and close out games, an extra pair of legs, someone to go ahead and still drive at the offense when we need to go ahead and close out games. I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next player returning. Big guy in the back, Cuban international, Bruno Rendon. Fantastic first season over at Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC that managed to go ahead and get himself a second team All Star. Yeah, managed to go ahead and get a second team All Star. Fantastic individual in the back with great versatility to go ahead and also play in the attack. We've seen how dangerous he is at whipping balls into our forwards. When he's in the box as well, he's clinical both in the air and with his feet. And then when asked to go ahead and stay back in a 4 formation, playing out the fullback position, being able to distribute from the back, stepping in a tackle, just his presence, his big guy presence, and that smile that he brings when he plays soccer. Fantastic player to have back at Windsor, Colorado. I was actually super excited that this was one of the first players announced on League One day one. I'm not gonna lie, this and Lalo, I think that was a great way to go ahead and kick off day one.
I think Bruno, from if we're talking about retaining a player for a second year, he was like was that Norte Arthur that we were texting each other back and forth last year. We're like, we need these two to sign, and just to get he was one of those players for me this upcoming season, and just to see his name, one of the first people called to be on the roster for 2024 was great move by Hellstorm. Just and also just Bruno. I thought he definitely probably had USL Championship looks because he is just a really
Mhm.
strong build. He scores goals, he assists goals, he defends goals. We saw him play outside back to wing back this season. Even I think even winger at one point, and it was just he was productive and he was an excellent player the whole time. I don't think he even. I mean, I'll have USL League One reviewer updater, double check me, but I think he probably won every header he was up against 50-50.
Yeah, an absolute presence in the air. Again, as I mentioned, one of his absolute best traits is his presence and clinical in the air, both offensively and defensively, in the box and our box, being able to clear it and place a header away. Just that the type of player that Hailstorm is bringing out back for another year. This was a great pickup. You mentioned it. This was a player you and I we were texting back and forth. Man, we gotta have Bruno back for another season. Gotta have Bruno, especially looking back at all the players that we've already lost in the back. This, along with Breck, is huge, huge.
Absolutely. Versatile players too. And now we just need Eamon to come in and sign some core center backs. And I think we're going to be looking solid for 2024.
Up next, another big retain, another huge re-sign by the club. As Coach Iman Zayed has said hundreds of times, arguably the best goalkeeper in the league. Our shot stopper, Edward Lalo Delgado. Huge, huge. Being able to go ahead and announce on the first day of League One, day one, the offseason, that we have managed to retain not only Bruno, but our shot stopper, Lalo Delgado. Huge going into the 2024 season. I think as Hailstorm fans, we took a sigh of relief that we didn't lose him to a USL Championship team. He did come from the Championship, didn't get a lot of playing time there, but now we saw his top quality here in this league, and we're able to have him for another season. How top is that, Nick?
Like Ayman Zayed said, he was arguably the best goalkeeper in the league last year, and he didn't get on a single first team or second team, which is unfortunate because we did have an incredible line of goalkeepers in the USL League
Yeah.
One last year, but he was arguably, it could have been 1A, 1B, 1C. When it came to those three goalkeepers, and Lalo being one of them, he tied the clean sheet record. I think maybe even broke it. It was one or the other. Either way, his name's on the record.
He set the most. He set the record for most penalty saves in a single season with 4.
And penalty saves. So if you look at all the aspects and where Hailstorm finished on the table, he could have been up there for candidate. And knowing Delgado, he 100% had offers from the championship. But what he's told me online before is Hailstorm make him feel like home as well. So it's just good to see him returning to Northern Colorado again between the sticks. We definitely saw a difference between 2022 goalkeepers and 2023 Lalo Delgado. So it's really nice, and he's one of the best players, like one of the signings that we got back, like one of the best.
Yeah, we've put emphasis before on, you know, our two best players in Arthur Rogers and Trevor leaving, and the impact they had the first season and the second season. That's a 20-point difference that we had, but also going under the radar, just the amount of games that Hailstorm was able to go ahead and close out and win because of Lalo Delgado. Those are points picked up because of the performance we had in the back, and that's huge carrying into next year. So I don't think we could sit here all day and just talk about how excited we are that we're having Lalo back for another season. I think I don't want to speak for both of us, but 11 that are coming back, I think this one was the most excited I've gotten so far.
He's up there for me.
That's fair. Did we already pass yours?
No.
Okay, okay. Ooh, ooh. Jackson. Moving on, Jackson Dietrich scoring the first goal at Future Legends Complex in history when we won 4-1 against Central Valley Fuego FC. An absolute fantastic young kid in the midfield with a lot of potential. I think he still has a lot to go ahead and offer this club. We see how exciting he is in the attacking third when he joins the attack, and he's able to go and also create in possession in the midfield. I think he still has a lot to give to this Hailstorm team and have a truly breakout season. He's had 2, I think, really good seasons leading up to the 2024 season. But I think a statement season where he is week in, week out in the starting lineup is just around the corner.
Absolutely. Another big shout out to Jackson, who scored our first ever goal in the South Platte River Derby against the Colorado Rapids. It was fun to see that in person at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, the Richard. Um, yeah, Jackson's definitely a strong player. I was excited to see his name because he's got a lot. He's still got a higher ceiling that he can live up to and play up to. And he wasn't bad last season. He was very solid. One of our better midfielders for the whole of last year. And I think we're gonna see, like you said, an even better Jackson this year.
Oh, yeah. One of the more recent signings that the club has just announced was bringing back midfielder Danny Robles back to the club for a third season. An experienced midfielder who got to play in USL League Two and win there, as well as almost getting a lot of minutes towards the later half of the 2023 season. A crucial part of Iman Zayed's midfield, coming back again for a third season. How exciting are we for this move?
I'm thrilled to have Danny Robles back. He was one of Ayman Zayed's like crucial starters toward the end of the season. So
Yeah,
just seeing Danny Robles back, he's going to be, I think, toward the end of the seasons with my Helia outlay, he'll probably be him and Markey and amongst others, probably be our all-time appearance leaders toward the end of the year. So it's definitely he's been crucial to all of Hailstorm's success so far as a club, and him getting experience in USL 2 that once last summer was just crucial for him as a player too. He got that winning experience. He came back in. He earned his way into the starting lineup pretty fast, in a pretty fast-paced environment that Eamon Zayed has. So yeah, Danny Robles is a top-notch re-signing, and I'm happy to have another player back for the third season for Hailstorm.
Yeah, let's just put a little bit of emphasis on how surprisingly fast he got back into the starting lineup once he was back from playing USL League Two, and that was a midfield that was stacked with players like Nordy, Jackson Dietrich, Donald Benyamna, Enoch Kwakwa, Stefan Lukic playing the 10,
Arthur
Valentin
Rogers.
Sabella, Arthur Rogers sliding in there. Again, so super surprising that he was able to go ahead and just slide back into that and be at that fast pace that Hailstorm plays. So definitely the player that Iman Zayed sees in him is going to go ahead and be very important to the upcoming 2024 season. So this is a big re-sign for the club as well. I want to go ahead and bring up. I want to assume. I'm going to guess that this is who you're mostly excited about.
Yes, sir. Just like
Go
Brian
ahead.
said from the League One on the Rocks, I think Billy King it might be in the running for the USL League One MVP next year. He had a really strong first campaign. I think he was still adjusting to moving over continents, adjusting to a whole new culture, a whole new climate than he's used to, than Scotland. And his resume speaks for itself, and his performances this year speak for itself. His rating was super high, if you believe in ratings. Um, yeah, I think Billy King is gonna have a double-digit goal season, potentially a double-digit assist season. Um, I put really high expectations on some of these players, but I think Billy King is one of those players that can definitely exceed, match it, and exceed. Just like Trevor Amon did for me, Billy King's gonna be my player in the second half of the season that's gonna really come alive. So yeah, Billy King is my favorite player returning. Then it would probably be Lalo Bruno. I mean, I can't even rank. There's just so many fun players returning from this core. Yes, we're losing some players that were quality last year, but we're bringing back tons of quality as well.
Yeah, we're really bringing back tons of quality, and the quality that Billy King provides to this team is superb. I mean, not only are we just talking about having a great performance rating after each match, but just he passes the eye test. He is fantastic to watch when on the ball. The way that he drives at defenders, being able to go ahead and still beat them. Modern day winger that beats defenders. Imagine that. Being able to go ahead and put the ball in the box, also making late runs in the box, playing balls on the ground 1-2, connecting with the midfielder, and it just shows also the level of IQ that he also brings to this team in the offense. I know we talk a lot about Arthur Rogers being that crucial playmaker. Billy King goes a lot under the radar doing that hard work. Maybe that hockey assist, if USL League One was taking into consideration those. But if you really watch his game, you see just how much he is involved in the attack before it gets to that final last two touches before the ball gets into the back of the net. Fantastic player to go ahead and have back for the 2024 season. And
No, I absolutely agree. And he was such a big miss when we played the Colorado Rapids. We were looking for if we needed a player out there to play against that club. It would have been Billy to really take them the length of the field. And so
yeah,
um
the Rapids played two younger players that don't really get rotational minutes at the fullbacks positions when we played him. I think it was Markinich who went over to St. Louis. Now he's important there, but and then Seb Anderson, two guys that I would have put my money on Billy King at times to go ahead and get by them easily.
absolutely, absolutely.
I'm sorry, you were saying you were showing something.
Oh no.
All right, well, that will go ahead and wrap up just our excitement over Billy King. The editing on this is going to be sub. It's going to be pop, pop, pop. Up next, are you feeling lucky? Because I am. We're bringing back Lucky Opara for another season as Hailstorm, another defender, left back, really showed the type of player he is, able to go ahead and join the attack, create from the back. He was able to go ahead and get on the score sheet many of times. Actually, when I last saw him get on the score sheet, he scored a brace against Union Omaha on that 2-3 loss at home. But he was alive. He was active, especially towards the end of the game. This is a great pickup to go ahead and have coming back for the next year. I'm really excited for Lucky. Nick?
Yeah, definitely. He was one of our leading goals and assists players last year. I think just behind Marky, Trevor, and
Yeah.
Arthur. So yeah, he's a pivotal. I'm not going to say this word anymore. He's a
Keep
crucial
telling.
player coming back to Eamon Zayed's lineup next year or
Uh-huh.
this year. Sorry, 2024 just started, and I'm still in 2023. Um, and yeah, I love his presence online too when he likes to interact with the Hell Yeah outlet. So just an overall good person, great player to return to Northern Colorado, and definitely part of that strong core that's going to take us back to the playoffs, hopefully, and hopefully a cup run.
And it just shows that the way that Irman Zayed wants to play, that he's looking for these players that are able to threaten the goal from practically anywhere on the field. Not only is he able to go ahead and put a ball into the box for our forwards, but he's also able to go ahead and drive or join the attack and have a few shots himself. This is not only a defender that we're bringing back, but we're essentially bringing a two-in-one back, a defender with a hidden attacker sauce in him. So huge. This is like another Bruno, but lucky. So nothing.
And we're lucky to have him.
We're lucky to have him. Um,
Qua qua.
Wrapping it up here with Enoch Kwakwa, another recent announcement coming back for the 2024 season, just his second season with the club, an important player in the midfield. When we saw the midfield go into a three diamond shape, he'd play with Nordy, and Jackson. But also at the beginning of the season, getting a lot of minutes, being thrown into competition like the US Open Cup, USL League One right away, and doing that summer congested schedule, a really important player in that very difficult midfield to break through. So he's coming back. That's exciting. How excited are you about him coming back?
I'm really excited. I think he's a really quality player.
Yeah,
He provides strong defensive prowess in the midfield. Um, I think he had a little bit of discipline problems last season with getting yellow cards. It,
yellow
it just
cards.
happens
Yeah,
in this league. Yellow cards just kind of seem to fly in this league when they may not in other leagues. Like the championship per se. But yeah, he was quality, and he started to get even minutes toward the end of the season last year, and I think he's going to be a locked-in starter this year for Eamon Zayed.
yeah. Last but not least, just announced today, Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC coming back for a third season is forward Marky Hernandez coming back to show us those goals, those celebrations. You know that selling. You know that
Yes,
selling.
sir.
We get another year of that, baby.
We should do it in the stands when he scores.
The club. Hey, NoCo, if you're listening to this, can you make a GIF of him?
Every time he scores, just put that up.
No, fantastic player. And honestly, we saw just how crucial he is and how big of a threat he is when he gets into form, especially towards the end of the season when he was really linking with some of the guys who were in form throughout the whole season, like Trevor, Bailey, Jackson, Arthur, all these guys coming in hot form. When he picked up Markey, he was able to go ahead and blend just in and be a crucial part of that attack, getting goals when we needed them late, sealing games away. Like, for example, that US Open Cup game against switchbacks in extra time, just being able to come into the game with his fresh legs, close out the game. Fantastic pickup going into 2024 for a third season with his expertise, his dance move celebrations, but just on and off the field. Just an absolute fantastic individual, and
Mhm.
we couldn't be happier for him to go ahead and come back. It's so it's so new, the announcement, that I didn't even have time to go ahead and make a visual just because I worked and then boom, came straight to this. But don't worry, we still have a video and it'll show.
No, I'm excited for Markey myself. He had when you're looking at the preseason Golden Boot guess for Hailstorm last year, I don't think anyone had Markey getting second. They probably had Billy, then Apara before we all found out what happened. But yeah, Marky scored the second most goals this year. He had the third most goals and assists overall. He was just a very strong player when he started, when he came off the bench, anywhere. He was a super reliable player for Hailstorm. He scored our only goal in the semifinals against North Carolina. So bringing him back,
Yeah.
he's got that experience. It's going to be his third year, and my prediction is he will be our all-time leading appearance leader by the end of the season. He's not too far off Arthur Rogers' lead. I think he needs 13 more.
Just 13 appearances. He could make them all in the League Cup practically.
Absolutely.
Given we go all the way and +1. But that will go ahead and wrap it up, guys, on our discussion of all of the 11 players that Northern Colorado Hailstorm is bringing back for the upcoming 2024 season. We also dove a little bit into the new 2024 USL League One Cup that's coming out. Our initial thoughts. We took a look at the group. Is it winnable? Our initial expectations. And we gave flowers to the players who are leaving us, whether that be to the USL Championship, other teams in the league, or going abroad. A fantastic chapter at Hailstorm for them has closed, and a new one will open up for us here just in a few months. So the 2024 season, this was a January update recap. I'm here with Nick Rosser. You guys can go ahead and keep up daily Hailstorm information. Like I'm talking like 15 notifications a day on the Hail Yeah outlet on Twitter. Ranging from news, stat, fun facts, just to go ahead and keep you entertained throughout this off season as the club is planning to announce more players. I'm going to go ahead and drop some scoops here on the pod. All right. Now, I know that we have 11 players that have been re-signed, but that's actually 11 players that the club has announced. Okay. Nick and I have a figure. We're not going to share with that, but it's exciting. The team is looking pretty good so far. So keep a lookout here for the next dozen or so announcements coming in the next month. Nick, any final wrap up thoughts here on the January update?
No, I'm excited. I'm excited. I was thinking though. I was thinking, oh wow, it's 2024. I can't wait to go to a home game, and then I realized we don't play Future Legends till May, so I'll have
Yeah.
to wait a little bit till then. Maybe Open Cup will give us a little bit of splash in Colorado, but other than that, I'm really excited for this upcoming year. I'm excited to give you guys more Hailstorm content on the Hail Yeah outlet, on Linners and Wosers lower leagues, and just on the Linners and Wosers network itself. Look out for our other two USL League One outlet editions that are coming to that have already came to X. We have Lex Go outlet for Sporting Lexington Club, or whatever they're called, Lexington Sporting Club.
Yep.
And then we have the Oma Bujos outlet for One Means All Bujos outlet for Union Omaha. So check those out. We have awesome lads running those. Yeah, I'm super excited for this USL League One season.
Well, that will do it, guys. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode, the January 2024 update. This was all news, updates, information, returning players regarding Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC, brought to you guys by Linners and Wosers. I'm Riccardo Cominelli, joined by Nick Rossers. Excuse me, Nick Rosser. There, an S just slipped out there for no reason. um, but thank you guys so much. Hail yeah. Ciao, ciao.